Well, hello everyone and welcome to the plot tour at the end of February. Well, it's been a wet one. Last February we had 3 millimeters of rain. This February we're up to 80 millimeters, so quite a big difference. But this is a free draining sandy soil, so we have not had the waterlogging that some people have had. The rhubarb, after its move, doesn't seem to be complaining too much. It's putting on some growth. We've got lots of signs of tulips, daffodils, alliums. There's a salvia that I split that I wasn't sure whether it was going to survive. It's on either side of that sedum there. All the phlox at the back there seem to be taking okay. So I'm hoping for a spectacular display. We've got the nigella going nuts at the front here. I have gone and put down a new membrane on the main avenue. It's the sort of thickest grade I've ever had, so hopefully that'll last a few years. So I've put down some prunings around the new strawberries. That'll get covered over with straw and it'll just gradually break down. We still have some leeks. But we've had leeks down the centre of the strawberry patch for a few years now, but we're going to shift to putting the blueberries in there. Initially in their plots, because the soil on this site isn't really ideal for blueberries, but I have seen some neighbours putting blueberries in the ground and actually they've done quite well. So it must be an acidy alkaline soil. It's very variable, it's quite patchy. So the blackcurrants and gooseberries are all pruned, and there's some bud burst, I think, on at least one of the gooseberries, not this one, the other one. And we do have some spring bulbs have done their thing. I think the carrot bath has been changed a little bit since the last video. It's all been prepped ready, it's been topped with some spent compost, seed compost from last year. We always get fresh seed compost each year. So we have transplanted the Cambridge favourite strawberry runners into this bath now. I've added a couple of extra drain holes at the base, so hopefully that'll stop some waterlogging. Not that the strawberry roots will get down that far. So the meadow bed, still waiting for its meadow mix, and we've already got about 14 different plants to go in there in terms of seeds. Now the chicory, we've had to net this. The pigeons have been merciless. They were I'll show you other unprotected chicories on the site that they've been absolutely shredding. So this is where the strawberry runners have come out. That has got another thornless blackberry in there. That's another Waldo tip layer that I took. So I have cut the grass, as these trimmings will prove, and I have put them round the remaining onions that were grown from seed. There was about 100 in there before winter had its way. Now there's about 10. So nothing really happening there. Brussels sprouts have just been left to break down. Again, just residues here. We've got garlic in here. So it's been recently sown, so there's not much evidence, but they are coming up, thankfully. Oh, I must show you there's some big fat buds on the peach, which means absolutely nothing. So that would be an absolute miracle if you've got any fruit on it, but quite nice to see. And there's little snowdrops amongst the foxgloves. They're coming towards the end now. So we're fairly certain this poor cherry tree is a goner. It's unfortunate that our neighbour went and sprayed it last year and said, "Oh, is that your tree?" I'm sure it wasn't that's seen it off, but it's one of those things. It's a lesson to us all that really we shouldn't be interfering with anything that belongs to somebody else. So we've got tulips coming up, as usual. I think that's a variety called Barcelona. So it's one of those perennial ones you can usually rely on. So our lovely daffodils in here, there was about 10 originally. They've multiplied quite considerably. There's a little bit gap here. Now that's where we've left in sunflower in previous years. But we're not going to grow sunflowers there, so the bulbs can start to take over. That's one of the... I have put a cage on this one, but you can see that the chicory there has been started to shred it. Oh, I've got a couple of new hyacinths I've popped in there. And there's one of the alliums. That might be one of the ones that gets a metre high. So the rosemaries have started flowering. I've managed to fix the guttering in my usual sort of Heath Robertson sort of way. I used some cable ties on a new post at the back, but it's filling up nicely with all this rain we're having. Yeah, so the bug hotel has been revealed. Everything seems to have survived on the bank. And we've got some bud life on the blueberries. Lots of little daffodils as well. Now the foxes have been digging in here, so I had to net it. But I'm thinking maybe some daffodils in there for next spring. So hyacinths over here. This is the more established clump of the pink variety that's just starting to flower. So plenty of new growth on the roses. And we've got the clematis, that's doing well too. I've pruned that back, so hopefully that'll put on a nice display. Of course the pluot is doing its usual and got plenty of blossom on it. So my Glencoe summer fruiting raspberry, I have gone and moved to the front of the raspberry area. This is on the south side. So hopefully that will do a bit better. I think everybody's allowed a raspberry boo-boo in their lifetime, and mine was to pop that summer one in amongst a whole bunch of autumn raspberries, forgetting that they were different. And we've got budding up on the plums. We've been sort of doing some sort of in situ composting where the sweet corn go, because they are hungry critters, so they'll appreciate that. All the parsnips are now up, so this is all covered over as well. We've got a couple of 3-4 leeks there. This was the bean and pea bed, just fodder really, just a green manure. It didn't really come to much, but it's a living root in the ground, so happy with that. And speaking of which, more living roots in the ground. They are not really providing us with anything. There are some nice looking swede there, but we haven't really been eating them. And this is the odds and sods bed. We're going to be putting some early radish in here. You can see how the pigeons have just been shredding away there at those turnips. So we've got loads of bulbs around the perimeter of the orchard. And I'm pleased to see that the alliums that I put in are appearing. We've got some healthy looking growth on the Victoria plum. And hopefully some of our origerons have survived. They look like they may have done. Now this gauge did really well last year, but we still haven't had any fruit off the damson. It's got sort of double buds. It was suggesting it's going to have fruit, but then it did that last spring and we got nothing. So we've given it the warning. So lots of growth on this golden celebration rose. It's sinking, the soil in the pot is just going away. It's probably getting washed out the holes. I may just move it into the ground. So I've actually saved another tip layer from the Tayberry there. And in the process I went and there was a loose bit of growth, so I just shoved that in the ground to make yet another tip layer. There's plenty more daffodils to come. It'll be interesting to see what's on show for March and into April. And there we are. I hope everybody's having a great day, and I will catch you in the next month's video. Bye for now.